Okay, this week on the Q&A, we're going to mix it up a little bit, and I've asked Ty to ask me your questions. I haven't had a chance to look at them because we just got back from Denver, and so fire away.
Aside from great content, and if you had to pick one, what would you choose to concentrate more on in an effort to build traffic? Similar site backlinks, core SEO, social networking, Cheers, Storm.
So the question is, if I had to concentrate on one aspect, and what was the circumstance?
Similar site backlinks, core SEO, page descriptions, tags, etc., social networking, Dig, Stumble, Twitter.
So it's aside from great content?
Yeah.
So if I had great content, which one of those would I pick? I would probably say the next priority would probably be getting people in front of the site. So I would say social media.
Hey Jeremy, if you bought a site from someone, would you think it'd be more beneficial to A, have a homepage with a high page rank and very low for other pages, B, have a homepage with a lower page rank but other pages with a decent page rank, and why?
Well, you'd have to look and see at how the person had the site structured. So if they had, site links to all the pages, then I would hope that the page rank would flow to those. Otherwise, if they just weren't linking, doing interlinking, then I would hope the main page would have a high page rank. So,
what are some good verticals that have your attention right now?
Well, obviously UFC, mixed martial arts, vertical, and mobile, international mobile, dating. There's a lot of different verticals that have our attention.
How many pairs of shoes or footwear do you own?
2. That's easy.
If you simultaneously became bankrupt, were then told by the doctor that you can only work for 2 hours per week or you will die, what would you do?
These are fun scenarios. So, let me get this right. I became bankrupt and I only can work 2 hours a week. What do I do? I mean, this is another one of those long ways or weird ways of asking what would I do if I had to start over tomorrow, I think. But I don't know, my answer I would basically, see, it's a weird thing because I would basically call up, any company in the space and tell them I'll do consulting for 2 hours a week. I mean, but of course if I went bankrupt, then that means what I'm doing isn't working and I'm not worth anything. So, yeah, I mean, that would still be my answer. So the question is basically, what would I do? That was what I would do. I would do consulting, or I would just blog.
If you had to start an online business completely from scratch with a maximum $5,000 budget, do you think you could get the business up to $100 a day? I know the magic number. If so, what would you recommend for others to do the same?
Do I think I could get a business to make $100 a day? And it doesn't say profit or net or anything like that?
No.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's simple. So, yeah.
Okay, are you a Husker fan? I assume you said yes.
No.
Do you have a skybox, or do you visit the rest of us, or do you sit with the rest of us?
I've actually had tickets one time to a game, but never made it. So I like the tailgate, and that's it. So I think that answers. We can just cut it off there. I used to be into sports back in my early 20s and whatnot, but 34 years old and don't really follow sports anymore.
In your opinion, is it still possible to make a lot of money online?
Yes.
What methods do you engage to keep yourself and your crew focused on achieving goals and not getting burnt out on the day-to-day activities of your sites?
That is a good question. One, we choose to do things that we are excited about and feel that we would use ourselves. So, for instance, our Fighters.com site, we are huge fans of the sport, number one, and we feel that it's a service that's badly needed because we think the rest of the sites suck. So we are creating what we want as fans. The same way with our mobile communities and ringtone sites and stuff like that. I mean, we, want these things. So we're basically creating, it's like we're building our own house and then selling it to everyone else at the same time. So it's just, and also with our tools, we just launched Shumoney Tools. That's something that we use and have used and are building now, what other people want, and it's something that we're very interested in. So I think you can avoid a lot of those pitfalls just by hiring people that are, not really in it for the money so much, but more in it because it's, it's what they want to do. It's what they're interested in. So I don't know if that really answers the question, but it does from my perspective. So.
From starting an unknown site to one that pays for itself, how long would it take you without publicizing it on shoemoney.com? What do you spend your money on?
I think a lot of people would be surprised to learn that we do a lot of things with no budget, no startup money, that I never talk about and wouldn't want to talk about on shoemoney.com. So the question was, how long would it take to make or do something?
From starting an unknown site to one that pays for itself, how long would it take you?
I can answer that question like from way back when I first started. It took me 3 years, but that was years and years and years ago. But now, now that with the experience that I have and stuff like that, I think within a couple months should be able to create a pretty profitable site from nothing. Now there's even better opportunities because there's so many, WordPress and Blogger gives you free hosting, and so you can just start generating revenue with no cost, upfront cost. So, it's not ideal, but if you have to do it on no budget, then it's a place to start.
You said in a previous post that one of the keys to your success was creating great content and making it easy to share. What are the best ways to make it easy to share, and how do you encourage people to share?
Just giving them an easy way to refer it to friends, and also, now with news readers and Twitters and, stumble this, dig this, just create those buttons, make it easier for people to share it. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You can just look at a lot of the things that we've done and see those.
Have you ever been to South Africa?
No.
What is your opinion on market leverage? Where do you see them in 5 years?
I think, as far as personalities go and stuff like that, they seem very aggressive. They seem to really understand how to get their name out there. And where do I see them in the future? I think from talking to some of the people behind the scenes, they're really working on some kind of revolutionary things in the space. And so, as they've got their name out there, which is key. Now it's just a matter of kind of backing up, everything they talk about. So, which it looks like they're doing a great job at. And as long as they continue to do well in those spaces, the thing is you're seeing so many new affiliate companies pop up that the competition's getting very hard. But they seem to be dominating the buzz right now throughout the blogosphere. So,
which fighting discipline do you think is the best to take, and why?
I would say I'm a big fan of jiu-jitsu or judo because they're kind of close combat things. If I'm not going to be a professional fighter, which I never would be, odds are most fights, if somebody was to attack you, are going to end up on the ground right away. So knowing jiu-jitsu or some form of advanced wrestling, I think would be most helpful.
I would like to ask you what is your favorite sport of the Olympic Games, and if you think that China could beat the U.S. in the medal boards this year.
I don't think China will place in the top 50%, maybe. But I don't know. My favorite sport, I love watching basketball. The USA team is just like the most incredible all-star team ever assembled. And I was watching them, LeBron James and Kobe Bryant, and those guys it's just like, it is like watching the Harlem Globetrotters just toy around with they were actually playing China, so that was kind of interesting.
I was reading your post about the robot.txt file, and I noticed with your file, you have the user agent Google bot listed twice, along with several identical disallows, like page, feed, and category listed twice. Is that how it should be?
Probably just a mistake. I don't know why it's listed twice. I don't really remember making a robots.txt post, but yeah, maybe. Off the top of my head, I would say that it's listed twice as a mistake, because you only need to list it once, unless it uses a different agent, which doesn't sound like it does. So.
What are your best methods you use to get a user to share your site with someone else, and how many active websites making money do you own?
These are lovely. So the first part was, how do I share?
Yeah, share your site with someone else.
Well, I think you have to have something worthwhile for somebody to share in the first place. So otherwise they won't share it. So great content to start with, and then just provide them a mechanism to share it, which we covered earlier. And the second part was, how many websites
Making money do you own?
making money do I own? More than I can count. I mean, like, a lot of them don't make much money, and some of them probably make nothing, but and we have a lot of different websites. So, I mean, and now I think this question is probably better directed to somebody that's a one-person operation, which I was, not too long ago, but now that we have staff and somebody else kind of handles all the financials and all that, I kind of just look at monthly reports and stuff like that.
With reference with your experience as an affiliate marketer, what kind of product would you believe that there are lots of opportunity of earning online? Computers, cameras, service, ebook, etc.
Okay, one more time.
With reference with your experience as an affiliate marketer, what kind of product would you believe that there are lots of opportunity of earning online?
Okay.
Computers, cameras, service, ebook, etc.
Yeah, I mean, I would say all those. That's a weird question. There's opportunity in all those areas, in respect to affiliate marketing, which I think was the question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the ebook thing, probably less than any of them, because most ebooks that sell, I mean, Aaron Wall sells really good, but it's pretty saturated. The people that are going to buy it are probably already bought it, maybe, but if you're going to be an affiliate marketer for ebook authors, that's probably going to be a little difficult. It's a little better to do it for well-known things like Dell or Apple or things like that, if you're going to do computer stuff. So,
I want to buy a website, but I don't know a thing about it. What is a BIN? How does it work?
is that in regards to auctions or just whatever? BIN is usually buy it now. So usually in an auction setting, there'll be like so many days remaining, auctions, you can outbid each other. But buy it now, BIN, means you just stop the auction now for a set price.
I want to know more about how to make advertisement. I'm a new learner here.
Next.
What is the biggest disadvantage of being a teen entrepreneur?
Well, I was never really a teen entrepreneur. I was too busy sleeping in and playing video games. But I would imagine from the teens or the younger generation I've talked to, most of them just have trouble, because they're not 18, they have trouble dealing with companies. No company's going to want to sign an agreement with them, especially affiliate companies. So I would think just getting market penetration and stuff like that. If you're a teen, go play. Don't get into affiliate marketing.
Pardon me if this has been asked before, but who created your avatar?
David Naylor. So just type in David Naylor, davidnaylor.co.uk or uk.co. I always get those mixed up. But he's an artist and a really good friend of mine.
Where do you go to fix bugs in your WordPress blog? Sometimes I get SQL errors or plugins that I want are acting up and conflicting and I don't want to remove them. I just want them fixed.
Most of the plugins that I run, I've either written myself or have hacked on. I don't think we run any that are just regular plugins. We pretty much have modified them all to do what we want. So being that we're pretty much everyone on staff understands PHP to some extent or can look at it. And, between us, we pretty much squash any bugs that we get.
GSP or Penn, which I'm assuming is St. Pierre.
I would say George St. Pierre wins that fight.
Are you the webmaster for Matt Hughes? I read you guys were working with him. Then Del Nave said he lost him as a fan. Then Hughes gives you two a shout out on his blog.
We're not his webmaster. Matt Hughes has a guy named Nathan Rosario who does all his webmastering stuff, design and whatnot. We just simply host, provide the bandwidth for his site. As far as Dave, lost him as a fan, I don't know. He's an interesting. Matt Hughes is an interesting guy. But yeah, he recently gave us a shout out on his blog, so that was cool.
I'd like to know what was the fastest you ever gotten a page to #1 search position in Google, and how much work did it take you to get it there? What's the first thing you should do to market a new site?
Wow. It's probably happened a lot faster than I noticed it. Now that Google has its Minty Fresh indexing, I've noticed things rank. Now, it says a page, right? Not like a site. So, I mean, a page to rank number one for a phrase. I've written things on my blog that within an hour have ranked number one for a pretty competitive phrase. And they go, they chart off, but the Minty Fresh indexing thing is pretty cool. As far as like a new site, I mean, with our McLovin ID generator, it was ranking, top 1 to 3 for McLovin and still does. There's really no sandbox anymore. I think it took about 3 days for it to rank number one, and that was a massively competitive phrase. Not that we make any money with it, but it's fun nonetheless.
In his recent post, John told his readers that how you surpassed his RSS readers' counts in a contest held in October 2007. Is that true? Did you really use that evil way to cross his RSS mark by creating fake number of 4,000 RSS subscribers in a single day? I guess you haven't told anything about that yet. Would you like to answer it now?
I mean, I can't be specific. I mean, even John doesn't know exactly. I told him kind of how it happened, but so that's referring to the RS competition, which basically was whoever had the most number on their thing at the end of the contest won. So I kind of waited until the last day, and then I exploited a small thing within FeedBurner after I emailed FeedBurner, and the vice president emailed me back and said what I was going to do was okay. So it was a small hole with the way they verify email stuff, and he asked me not to say how it worked until after they had fixed it. And last I checked, they still haven't fixed it. There's actually a ton of holes in FeedBurner which are starting to get exploited more. The one that I exploited, basically, it just will show for a couple days, and then it won't show anymore, because the way the email works is it tells when you load up and stuff like that, so it'll actually not count them if people. So basically, like, it was only, I knew it would work for a couple days, and I don't know. I think John is and John Chow is what this is referring to. I mean, it wasn't really a big deal, I didn't think. I mean, it was a simple competition, and I won again, so.
I'm wanting to add a blog to my existing e-commerce site. Is it better to put a blog on its own domain, or does it matter? Can I put it as a subdomain off my e-commerce site? Which is better, as we get a lot of traffic to our main domain, but not sure what is best for adding a blog? Adding a navigation tab for the blog off the main site, or starting with a new domain that the main site points to?
Okay, I would yield to Google's lead spam engineer, Matt Cutts' post on the subject, who says that you should always do it as a subfolder of the website. So like on his, he has mattcutts.com/blog. So that way you can keep and he basically says it serves several purposes, but in an SEO purpose, a lot of people will link to your main URL as well as the blog URL. So you'll kind of reap the benefits of both of those. So that's from an SEO perspective. From a navigational perspective, it's easy. Subdomains, a lot of people get mixed up with that, but usually you should only use a subdomain if it's clearly a separate part of the site. Now that's kind of my opinion, but like with our tools thing, we did tools.shoemoney.com basically because it's a different server, and you just have to do that, and I think that's why subdomains were created, and that's how they should be used.
Have you ever flipped a house to make money?
Nope.
For the very first time, I will meet a big client, a bank, for an SEO proposal. I am very excited and stressed about all this. Would you be so kind to wish me good luck?
Good luck.
How often do you work out, and what do you do specifically during those workouts? Cardio, lift, etc. And then eating-wise, are you a stickler for what you eat, or do you eat anything, limited due to the surgery you had?
First of all, I haven't worked out for over a month. I just have been very lazy about working out. But I'm going to get back in the routine starting today, partially due to my new kid being born and all these other business things coming up. But so it's basically Mondays I do chest, usually consisting of bench press, usually overhead press, a few other chest exercises. Wednesdays we do legs, mostly like walking lunges, squats, straight leg deadlifts, whatever. And then on Fridays we do back, which is pull-ups and other back stuff, seated rows, stuff like that. Then cardio is kind of hit and miss, so usually try to run twice a week, but it's been a while since I've been on that regimen, but need to get back on that horse.
And then the food?
I don't really have any restricted diet. I try to keep away from the fat because with the surgery I had, basically fat is not absorbed by my system, and if I eat really fatty foods, then I'm on the can a lot, so try to stay away from that.
Name a niche you're wanting to get into.
A niche I want to get into. We pretty much do anything we want, so it's a hard question to answer. I think that, I would really, I don't know. I mean, we pretty much do what we want to do right now. We're pretty transparent about it, so.
How would you advise new bloggers on gaining backlinks? What are some of the techniques you would recommend?
Just write passionately and, I don't want to say have great content because that's an easy out for me, but, I think the more you can write honestly, passionately, and from the heart, really how you feel about things, the more people will, want to link to your content because one, it'll be original because it's actually your thoughts. You'll get accused of link bait a lot and whatnot, but I don't give a shit about any of that. So I just write what I want to write, and I don't really care too much about grammar or spelling, obviously. And I have some friends that help me on occasion with that, but for the most part, just be you. And don't, if you want to write for money or whatever, that's fine, but you're probably not going to get anywhere. So, I wrote shoemoney.com for, a year and a half before ever thought of putting an advertisement or making a dime off of it. It was my place to vent. I never actually thought anyone would pay me because I swore all the time and misspelled, but, I think my blog is a great example of if you just be yourself and write from the heart and, as long as your content's great, then people will come and follow, so.
When do you consider no following or do following a link on a blog post? Any explanation?
Well, it's an editorial thing, so basically it's almost like an endorsement. There's sometimes I wouldn't want to be associated with a site, but I want people to easily get to that site, so then I would use a no follow. But that tells the search engine, like, I've met this dude maybe, but I don't vouch for him, so.
AdWords question. If some of my keywords become inactive due to Google required minimum bid becoming higher than my maximum bid, what should I do with them? Delete, pause, or something else?
If you're not going to change anything else, then I would delete it. But if you're going to change the site for probably, or the ad copy to get a better click-through ratio, you're going to have to pay more for a while. But eventually it will come down, if you improve it. I guess it just depends on how much you believe in what you're doing. So if you can pay more, then do it. The only thing that's going to bring down your quality score is spending more money to get that click-through ratio up more, to get your price down, or improving the user experience to bring your quality score up. So.
We are launching a new site and need some sponsors. Would you like to sponsor our site with Fighters.com or another one of your properties?
Possibly. Does it say what the site is?
Yeah, HBCUIGH Lights. HB.
I don't know.
.com.
Everybody wants to have a contest and wants us to sponsor it, so it's very rare that we do. But if you have to kind of demonstrate what's in it for us. To be honest, we're not a charity, so.
When and where is the next elite retreat?
I don't think it makes sense for us to have it anywhere other than San Francisco, unless somebody else wants to put up the money to do it, because San Francisco is where we've had great, we sold out the last one there. We have no plans right now to do another one, but, I get asked, I think at least once a week, when is the next one? So I predict the next one will probably sell out the first 48 hours. just based on the response. So when are we going to have one? It'll probably, if we do have one, it'll probably be next April or February to March. So in that time frame, spring, it'll probably be in San Francisco. Unless somebody wants to foot the bill and put up some money and have it somewhere else, because I've tried it other places and it just doesn't get the response. So I don't know, maybe we could try it in like Vegas or something like that. But even Vegas, I think it's because you want people there, and I don't know. That's a good question. So we'll probably have more on that at the end of this year as to our plans on future Elite Retreat events. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I know there's a big demand for it, but I'd rather try to conquer. I mean, it was kind of cool to be able to sell out a conference after kind of not failing. We were still profitable the first couple of times, but I mean, it didn't do what I wanted. Then, actually completely selling out the last one and being able to do all kinds of very cool things. I don't know that we could top the last one, but I think there's other avenues I'd rather try. But we could, I mean, we definitely still could do it. So we'll see.
Besides Craigslist, what job listings boards have you found to personally work for you for recruiting employees? Please do not answer with Monster.com, Hot Jobs, etc., where the fees are in the hundreds. These cannot be virtual people like Elance, etc., but professional. I need teachers in the U.S.
I love how they narrow it down so much. First of all, we've never used any of those sites. So the basic question is, how do I get quality people without spending any money whatsoever and not using Craigslist? Well, I think we use the Husker Hire, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't cost anything.
Mm-hmm.
So want to advertise in the Husker Hire in Nebraska, it's never costed us anything, and that's something that we have used, and that perfectly answers your question, Mr. Narrower Downer.
Why can I not see my comment?
I don't know. Probably you should actually read my post on comment spam and the comment system, because there's several ways. If you've never commented before, or if you've tripped one of the triggers for comment moderation, then it'll be thrown into moderation queue. But obviously it made it through, so congratulations.
He wants a recommendation. So number 1, WordPress or Blogger or other?
Blogger. So
That's
WordPress. Is that it?
The best web hosting companies?
I don't know. We haven't used a web hosting company in years, so I wouldn't know.
Any recommendation for auction software for web-based auction?
Nope.
Did you check with PicLens?
Nope. No idea what PicLens is.
Would you recommend stealing videos and branding them as your own?
Usually when somebody asks a question like that, I'm being set up for something. So, I mean, obviously no. But I think on the other hand, you see a lot of people stealing my content and stuff like that and then branding it as their own. So I'm not sure if they're trying. I usually, when I get questions like that, I try to figure out where it's coming from. So, I mean, obviously, you always want to respect copyrights of everyone. So I legally just covered my ass.
What do you think of how the Top Affiliate Challenge came out?
I think based on the fact they had absolutely no money to spend on it, and the producers, and if you look at it, it was Storschrock, who doesn't have a very big affiliate marketing background, in partnership with a local company that produces and edits wedding videos. And what they produced was something that's gotten more attention and buzz in the affiliate industry than I can't remember anything. I mean, so I think that obviously there's a number of things that need to be improved, but I mean, every time we have questions, every time I meet people, they bring it up all the time, the Top Affiliate Challenge. So, I mean, I think from, I know that they were happy with the amount of revenue that the producers got out of it, and also that the winner got out of it. Obviously it got a tremendous amount of buzz, and it seems like pretty much every company is trying to get on board for the second season. I don't know that I'll be a part of it again, just not because I don't think it'll be successful, just because one thing I found out with this is just time-wise. I mean, even before my baby was born, it was taking up a lot of time. So it depends. So I've already been approached about it, and I'm kind of saying no for now. So, but obviously, I mean, I think it was pretty successful, even though, I mean, in the end, the guy who was the top affiliate out of the group of regular average people won. So, I mean, I think that was the whole concept. I know so many. It was funny because I haven't seen past the 3rd episode, but people that ask me about it, I'm like, they're like, what did you think about it? I don't know, and I'm like, honestly, I haven't seen past the 3rd episode, and they're like, oh, well, it gets so much better. I mean, like, so many people watched it. I mean, so, you know, I think that it's a great success story, to be honest. I mean, it was a lot of hard work, I know, for the producers, but just regular people, I think it shows a lot of people out there what's possible. It received a lot of negative press, but most of the people that gave it negative press, I think they had a lot of like how they would do it differently, and so I don't know that it was that negative. I mean, because I think pretty much everyone who wrote negative about it has kind of volunteered to help for the next one, so, or at least wants to have some sort of input, or just their feedback in general will help it. So I agree that there was a lot of room for improvement, but at the same time, it's definitely you know, like one of the biggest, I think, success stories we've had in a long time in the affiliate space.
Say you have a website selling a physical product. What do you think a manufacturer or wholesaler of said product wants to hear in order to give you the best discount, and thus a greater resale margin for you?
Can you start at the beginning of that one again?
Yeah. Say you have a website selling a physical product.
Okay.
What do you think a manufacturer, wholesaler of that product wants to hear in order to give you the best discount, and thus a greater resale margin for you?
Well, I think the representation of the product is a big thing. So, you know, like, how are you going to use it? A lot of times, if you show them that you have a budget for advertising and you want to feature their product, you know, they'll give you a better margin. You know, just if you have a reputation in the space for delivering sales with similar products, just by demonstrating and showing like you're not just going to waste their time, you know, I think all those things would equal a better payout.
If you had the name Browie, what would you call your new company when you started to bring in enough revenue?
Browie?
Browie?
Not Brownie? Okay, Browie? I don't know. What is the question again?
If you had the name Browie, what would you call your new company when you started to bring in enough revenue?
Something else. Well, I mean, Browie is with a Y or a IE?
IE.
That's a horrible name. I mean, I would call it something else. Probably something else. I don't know. Okay, next.
Okay. If you can start all over again, would you still build a blog or go for the static web pages? Here's another question. Which utility or software...
Wait, let's start with the first one before you listen.
If you can start all over again, would you still build a blog or go for the static web pages?
If I was to start my blog again, I would be a blog.
Here's another question. Which utility or software would you not be able to be without or lose its application? Which is the most important to you?
Terminal. I mean, without the terminal, I'd be in deep trouble. So if there was not a way to access, you know, command line stuff, that would be a big issue, because I probably work in terminal most of the time. But as far as what most of the mainstream uses, I would say I use Skitch a ton. So.
Do you have a dog? If so, what's the dog's name? Male or female?
Yes, Baxter, male.
Can a blogger starting now possibly have the same kind of
Yes.
success you and John Chow have had?
I'll leave it. I think it depends on what you determine as success. So, I mean, obviously, as far as the blogosphere goes, me and John Chow, I think we're both in the top 100 Technorati and stuff. So, if that's how you measure success, then I would say, I mean, me and John Chow are just regular guys, and you know, I mean, especially in his case, he's pretty much a clown. So, but we're pretty competitive. But I mean, like, honestly, like, I think anyone could do it. I mean, I graduated high school with like a 1 point something GPA, and was like most likely to never be successful, I think. So I think that if I can do it with a blog that uses bad grammar and writes about anything from how I used to be fat to Lost, How I Met Paris Hilton, and there's a bunch of them on there, and people find those things mixed with other things interesting. I would definitely say that you can do it too.
What are the 3 biggest mistakes you've made in your online marketing journey?
Wow, that's a long time. So about 7 years ago, I had a company under contract to pay monthly advertising, and then, well, no, we didn't have a contract. That was the lesson learned. Was the company? It was actually Other World Computing, who is surprisingly still made it through the .com bust. But during that time, we had an oral contract for advertising on my Mac Quake site, which is macquake.com at the time. I don't own it anymore, so don't go there and tell me there's problems with it. So they broke the agreement and were basically like, tough, what are you going to do about it? So that was a mistake. This is right off the top of my head. So other mistakes. I think that I should have, I'm a horrible manager. So I think I should have probably hired a CEO person a long time ago. I probably still should. But I'm definitely better at being a CEO than I was like 4 or 5 years ago. I would say that's probably been one of the biggest mistakes I've made, because I'm a marketer and somewhat of a programmer, and and first and foremost. So for me to be a CEO now and to run all these different sites and stuff, and then also do marketing and stuff like that, I thought I could do it all, but I don't know. I think I still at some point should hire a CEO to actually run all these companies, because I don't know. It's just my thoughts, but it seems to be working. So, see, one other one. Biggest mistake in online journey. Newsletter. I should have done a newsletter like years ago. That's retarded that I didn't do a newsletter. So that is a massive mistake that I made. And people tried to tell me, and I was like, I'm not going to be like you spammers. But definitely, I definitely should have spammed people with a newsletter a long time ago. So.
How is Below a Buck doing? Traffic? How many successful bids is it doing per month?
Below a Buck, our site that we launched, that was a site that we created in, I think, less than 24 hours, actually. I think Dave spent about 2 hours actually coding it, and then the rest of the time was waiting on graphic designers. So Below a Buck, we did it on less than $500 budget. It did the first month, it made a couple $1,000s, and then it slowly tailed off. So we haven't even changed the links from the old Commission Junction style to the new one. So, it's making absolutely nothing. It's one of the things that's on the back burner to fix. So I couldn't tell you how much it makes. I know it still receives decent traffic. It has a lot of people that go directly there. So it's pretty much blacklisted, I think, in Google, only because we had some other sites with more authority ranking for the exact same content, which created a duplicate content issue. We're trying to get that cleared up. That's another thing on the back burner. So people are actually going to it from bookmarks and stuff like that. So that's very encouraging. I think if, again, like CEO stuff, I think if I would actually appoint somebody in charge of that site and then gave them a percentage of the revenue, and don't email me and ask for that job, because I know that's going to happen, but because I'm not going to do it. But basically, if we would do that, then I think that would have been a smart thing to do. So I know that doesn't answer the question, and that's because the question really can't be answered this time. So.
How do you usually start driving traffic with new projects or affiliates, and how much money do you usually take in the hand?
I don't understand the last part of that, but what was it again?
How do you usually start driving traffic with new projects or affiliates?
Well, organically is nice, but I don't know. That's a weird question. So organic, like, versus pay-per-click versus other methods. Usually I use low-hanging fruit. So, I might, if I know somebody in that space, like let's say we have a baby product, or have a baby website, then I would ping a lot of the mommy bloggers that owe me favors. So, just go after low-hanging fruit. Try not to spend any money, so common sense.
What do you consider the best pay-per-lead affiliate programs?
Pay-per-lead affiliate programs? The poker industry, I mean, if it's legal for you to do so, still has incredible payouts per lead. Mortgages, you know, I know they do really, really well if you have quality stuff. You know, the financial industry, I think you're going to see a lot of mom and pop businesses start to put products online. That's not really a lead though. You know, it depends on your quality of leads and how they are. So I know people that do really well with like mortgage leads, and then some. It depends on how you build the leads and qualify them. So
Sometimes I find myself in a mental block when trying to think outside the box to come up with new keywords. What tips can you provide us with to allow our minds to break free from the box?
wow. So this person's basically trying to find keywords and new ways to find them. I did a post one time on harvesting your own internal data. A lot of times, you know, what people search for within your site, a lot of people don't log that. So for instance, on NextPimp, which is our mobile community site, a lot of times people will type in artist names or, you know, whatever, even typos and stuff like that. We log all that data and then bid on that in our keyword set. We also, I mean, we purchase tons of keywords. We have our own keyword generation tool that is basically, we have APIs with everyone who offers a keyword tool API. We keep them fresh all the time. I would say that, but everyone has those that data or can get it. Like you can subscribe to Shoe Money Tools for $100 a month, and right now during the beta, and you know, you and everyone else. The only thing you can do that's really unique is use your own data. So you have these sites, people are coming to these sites with keywords, bid on those keywords. I mean, that's really the only method that you're going to get really super unique keywords that no one else has.
If you had a full-time job that you didn't hate and your online income was about 1.5 times what your job makes, would you quit or stick it out?
If I like my job, but I was making, I guess it depends on how much you believe in yourself well, if you like your job, so this person sounds like somebody who has a job, but they like the job, but is making good money, but yet they're still asking my opinion. I mean, if they're happy, then I'd keep doing what makes them happy. There's a certain level of security in working for someone, you know, and having benefits and stuff like that. So, but the other question I think, which probably most people out there, and maybe even the author of this wants to know, is like, you know, at what point should you quit your day job and pursue? And that's how I started to answer it. And it really just depends on how much you believe in what you're doing. And most people won't. I mean, I had to get canned to actually believe in what I was doing. So, and had to have my wife talk me into it. So.
Did you ever have a time in your life where you wanted to give up on your internet ideas, or what gave you the push to become a successful internet entrepreneur?
I never wanted to give up because it doesn't really cost anything to do it. So, and it's like a hobby to me to try different things. It's kind of like playing the game of life. So it's, you know, being that it doesn't cost anything or pretty much nothing to do it. And what was the other part of the question?
Did you ever have a time in your life where you wanted to give up on your internet ideas, or what gave you the push to become a successful internet entrepreneur?
The push really to do it was kind of a position of opportunity meets preparation. So basically I got fired from a job, and at the time, my girlfriend at the time had, you know, basically a decent enough income to support us both while I tried this. And so I was kind of pushed into it.
How would a search engine rate a single landing page against a small, say, 10-page website?
Well, obviously, I mean, it depends on the link distribution. So, like if all the links are going to that primary page and it's not linking to any of the internal pages, then it doesn't matter. Then the page is going to rank well. I mean, if all the links are going to an interior page, then that main page, you know, it's probably not going to rank as well. I mean, it seems like an obvious question, but I'm not an SEO, so.
What is the coolest thing that you have with the Shoe Money logo on it, excluding the swimming pool?
See, why do people gotta limit me? When I was like 12 years old, I started drawing that logo. And actually, I took a fluorescent, there's like this plastic fluorescent, that goes over fluorescent lighting fixtures. And so, like what you have in an office. And what I did was I did that logo in duct tape and then spray painted it so that when the light was on, it shined through the logo. So that's I did that when I was about 13 years old. So that's probably the coolest thing I've had on.
If timing was different, how do you think you would have done on the Top Affiliate Challenge if it would have been really interesting to see all three gurus battle it out?
Well, I mean, the one thing this was a battle between the gurus. I mean, we were there as a resource for the users, and it wasn't so much like me versus John Chow versus what's his face, the other guy. So, I know his name, Ken MacArthur. That's his name. So, I mean, like if it would have been interesting to see, like if we would have had some competition, between me and John and Ken, but it wasn't about us. It was about the affiliates who came there. So.
What's it take to get to the top of the Free Shirt Friday queue?
I get asked a lot, and the fact is I don't see them until I'm taking a picture with them. So Ty and Susan basically are the ones that get them at the addresses, and then they put them in a stack. And so about, I don't know, once every 3 months or so, they give me a stack of shirts to put on, and we take pictures in them, and then I have Ty do research on the company and post them. And so maybe a 20 to them. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Would you do it for $20?
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
A 20 then.
Are you less motivated with your blog lately?
Am I less motivated with my blog? I don't know that I would say less motivated. I think that, the coolest thing about my blog is that it's my blog. I mean, it's like I can, if I'm really into it and want to write a bunch, I can. And most of the times I have like 30 posts in the drafts folder that are waiting to be posted or waiting for me to post about them. So motivation to blog. I would say I'm probably more excited about the blog than ever. But unfortunately, the blog has always taken a back seat to our company stuff. So I would say that the blog is definitely low on the priority list for me to work hard on. But we do have a new design or a new kind of tweaking on the design that'll be rolled out maybe this week. But we have so many other projects that need attention than my stupid blog. So,
what are the 3 biggest mistakes that you've made on the blog?
The newsletter thing obviously would be a huge mistake, not to have a newsletter. Another, for a long time I thought the URL structure, I wish I would have done that different. But it actually, I like the way it is now, because now people can go back and just from the URL structure can determine what dates a post was made. So, let's see, error blogging. I don't know. Like I say, my blog is never something, I'm in a very fortunate position that it's never something I've had to do to make money. So I've never felt like I need to, forced to make a post or some stuff like that. I think that I wish I would have implemented some of the things that I do now earlier. The behind the scenes thing that we do at companies, that we've been going and shooting those are freaking awesome. I absolutely love doing those. So I wish I would have started doing that, and we have quite a waiting list of companies to get to. I wish it didn't take so long to get there and do them, but so yeah, I kind of think that I just took too long to do some of the things, but my blog is kind of a backseat to a lot of things, but it's growing. So
how does it feel to have a Wikipedia page about yourself while John Chow doesn't?
That's a great question. I actually have this huge list behind me, which takes up my whole whiteboard. That is actually all the things I've done that John Chow hasn't. So, no, I didn't even know he didn't have one. And to be honest, mine is last time I looked, had my birthday, had me 2 years older than I actually am. I think it had my birthday is 1972. I was born in 1974. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of cool to have a Wikipedia page, but at the same time, I mean, it doesn't. I still got to work tomorrow, so.
You once mentioned that you track your website traffic with your own analytics tool. Do you track any key metrics other than the usual?
Depending on the site and the goal. So, for instance, on our Webmasters tool stuff, we track what tool people use because we want to make sure that we're devoting the most amount of time on what people really want to use.
How do you get a great quality score on a single page landing page?
Well, obviously, you want to have. I don't think we're recording anymore. Are we recording? Oh yeah, it's still recording. Okay, I'll answer that. So, how do I get a good quality score on a landing page? Obviously, your click-through ratio has to be very, very good, and then I think the user experience is very vital, so that the user doesn't immediately click back right away. I think Google uses that as one of their metrics. And as much as you can answer the keyword, I think your ad copy has a lot to do with it. So mention, just read some of my old posts on pay-per-click. That'll help you out.
Whenever I try using an image ad, CJ, Common Connect, etc., on the side panel of my WordPress blog, that entire site is suddenly at the bottom of the screen on the browser instead of on the right side. What could be the issue?
It sounds like you have a fixed width issue. So your website is set at a fixed width, and adding that image probably goes over, so it's wrapping around at the bottom. That would be my best guess.
I am new to this site. Where should I start reading on your site? It seems to be a bit all over the place to me, and I don't know where to read first.
That's a good question. So at the bottom there is the previous question and answers. I think there's over 1,200 total questions and answers throughout the process. So I would start there because that covers a lot of stuff.
Can I become a rep of yours some way over here in California?
Absolutely.
Auction ads, how long did it take you to put it together, and in what programming language did you use?
Dave Delnave wrote it, and I think it took him a couple days to write the core of it. Maybe even less than a day. It actually was derived from a product that we had called Shoe Money Ads, which I know didn't take him very long to write as well. What was the other question?
What programming language do you use?
PHP.
Do you think Bruce Ivins is the Anthrax guy, or is he being used as a scapegoat?
I'm not familiar with that. Do you know anything about it?
I just read a little bit about it, but
So
I have
what do
no
you think?
idea. Sure.
Okay. Sure.
Choose one. Rock, paper, or scissors?
Rock. Just because I'm built like a rock. So.
I presume that you are well connected to people who have successful internet businesses. Can you disclose the annual profits, not revenues, the top tier are making in different internet business categories, like people who specialize in running AdSense sites, affiliate marketers, people selling digital goods? I'm not asking you to disclose names, just something like, I know 3 guys making approximately $1.5 million a year with AdSense.
I know 3.5 million guys making $1 a day. That's a weird question. So, if they just want to be inspired, I've actually seen somebody log into their Commission Junction account that was doing about almost $2 million a month. That's pretty impressive. So there's actually me, Chris Jones, Dave Naylor, Dave Delnave, and a couple other people sitting around this guy's laptop when he pulled it up, and we were all just like, wow. So that guy's macking it pretty hard. So the AdSense question is kind of interesting because most of your people that are making money from AdSense just don't know any better yet. And this isn't including, like Dig and stuff like that, because their content sucks so bad that people wouldn't really want to spend money. Even Microsoft and Google, Google has admitted that MySpace was a bad investment. So AdSense generally is a great starting point. It's where I started, but it leads you to other things. So like AdSense led me to affiliate marketing because we were doing 100 and some thousand a month through Google AdSense, and then discovered, oh my gosh, there's these people are paying us $1 per click, but they're getting 15 per lead. So now I'm the dummy. And then it led us to learn about affiliate marketing years and years ago. So I think that I don't know very many people making a lot with AdSense, and those that do, it's almost embarrassing if they still do, because it's just because they just haven't really learned, or I shouldn't say embarrassing, but they just don't know any better, that they're really missing out. But I mean, AdSense is very easy to use and definitely has an audience. I don't honestly know very many people making over $500 a month with AdSense, just because they quickly move on to, because they learn, that they're kind of selling themselves short.
Making a little money is one thing. What about sustaining that income over a long period of time?
That would be good. I agree that making a little money sucks. And that's how I started, like with AdSense and pay-per-click stuff. I mean, you're rich and then you're poor. And so since we've grown the staff here and, tried to venture in more stable markets, it's definitely been a lot nicer. So I would concur with that statement.
I have a number. It's in the range of 1 to 10. Make a guess. I want to see if we see eye to eye.
5.
If you had a stellar idea for a new website, what are the first 5 things you would do? And if you were somewhat new, where would you turn for guidance?
Well, I mean, turning for guidance is pretty easy, right? I mean, you got to go to my site. So, and then, we have really 3 core things that we look at, because all of us come up with good ideas. But, they're fun, silly ideas most of the time. So the 3 core things that you want to look at is, 1, the business model. Is there a way for it to make money? If there's not, then what the hell's the point? 2, is it a needed service? So is this really something that you would want to use and you are going to use? Because if not, you're going to get burnt out on it, and eventually you won't like it. Number 3, does it have a viral component? So will it grow without spending money? And will people want to recommend it? And does it have an easy way for recommendation? So, those are 3 things that we look for. Because those are pretty easy to come up with for about any site. But if they're not there for your stellar idea, then you should probably can it.
What is your biggest online success so far this year?
Well, the Elite Retreat was pretty awesome. That was big. We launched Fighters.com. It depends on what people measure by success. We're hitting all our goals with Fighters.com, but we're not really making money. But at the same time, our goal is to grow the site, not really to profit, because we know that for the site to be successful, it has to grow by leaps and bounds. So the single biggest, I would say Fighters is probably our biggest online success. Or the tool system. Just in the beta program, I'm really impressed at how much interest it's got and how many people have signed up already. So we want to make sure that we do a really good job and keep developing awesome tools for those users. We have a great feedback system now that it's like a little dig thing where people can submit suggestions, and then we let the other members vote on if they like those suggestions, and if they do, we build the tool. It's simple. I wanted to build the ultimate resource for webmasters tool-wise, because I feel that there's a ton of them out there that are charging a lot of money, and they all offer the same thing. So I don't know which of those. I think it's still too early in the year. Usually the fourth quarter is when we do the best every year, and the first and second quarter we suck. So we're pretty much on par with every year for the last 4 years. We had a crappy first and second quarter, and third and fourth looks very promising. So,
how do you charge advertisers on your blog? Is it by the number of RSS subscribers you have?
No. That's it? Okay.
Yeah.
So we charge basically, because we're capitalist pigs, at least I am. And are you capitalist?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's go with
So because we are capitalist pigs, we basically let the market set itself. So we charge something, and as long as that advertiser is an advertiser, they're locked in at that price. But when they stop advertising, we have a pretty big queue for open spots right now. So we charge more every time. Usually, I think we increment it like 5% or so. So we just keep charging more all the time. And like I say, when somebody gets locked in, then they're locked in at a price. Otherwise, we keep incrementing that price until nobody wants to advertise. Then we'll bring the prices down. So we kind of let the marketplace set itself and let capitalism work.
Can I buy you a beer the next time I'm in Lincoln?
Probably not. Only because between work and family obligations, I can't remember the last time I've gone out to a bar in Lincoln. Other than Top Affiliate Challenge one night, we got a little crazy. But I couldn't even name a bar in Lincoln. So, no offense. But it's better to go to a conference and buy me a drink there.
What, according to you, is the next big thing about the internet?
That is a good question. The next big thing in the internet. I think that, I am just drawing a blank there, which is it's a pretty open question. I think the internationalization of the internet is going to be the next frontier. When you look at the market and how many people in other countries use the internet versus how much they're being catered to, it's like nil. There's hardly any affiliate programs other than eBay with a global affiliate presence. So, I really think that, with affiliate marketing, and then the reason I point out affiliate marketing is because if affiliate marketing's there, then you'll see AdSense there, you'll see all these other things there. AdSense actually can make money in some countries. But there's just so many people that aren't on the internet yet, and on these other countries, and I think you're going to see the mobile. I think it's kind of a duh, at least to me anyway. But the mobile international stuff is more people in most other countries use their phone more than they use their computer to access the internet. So I think you're going to see more ways to monetize those customers.
Would me buying at a Great Hibachi Grill here in Vegas be a fair trade for some time to discuss a couple projects I've been working on? And when are you going to be in Vegas again? PubCon, I assume.
I'll actually be in Vegas for the DMA, which is in October, which is before PubCon. But as far as taking me out to dinner, I just don't have time for that. I appreciate the offer. It's much better just to go, and sometimes I've gone to lunch with people, but it's mostly been a spur of the moment thing. I don't try to plan lunches and dinners because a lot of times I just go with the posse. Unless you want to buy dinner for 20 people, I don't think you want to do that. But usually we talk Neil Patel into buying dinner for everyone anyway. So just tag along with, and I'm free to talk. While I'm there, that's why I'm there. So to steal your ideas. So.
Best online business, subscription-based service or for sale product?
Subscription is the win, and it really, ongoing subscription is, it's timeless. If you look at, magazines and even Netflix and Blockbuster, their monthly subscription models, they absolutely kill it. So the more you can get into an automatic subscription with things, I know with some of our sites we haven't had. Some of the sites we have subscribers going back 5-6 years, and that's awesome recurring revenue. So, but when you have a fixed product, I'll be honest, having a fixed product sucks, because even with our shirts, we lose money on shirts because it's more spreading the brand. So we charge $5 for a shirt, $5 for shipping. The shirts cost us $7, and I think it costs us, at least $5 to ship, and depending on where you're at in the world. So we still have a ton of issues with that. People call, they were sent to the wrong address, they were sent the wrong size, and so most of the time that's our fault, or whatever, and we got to make it right. So having as long as you have the staff and the margins to have a physical product, I've never cared to do it. So, I would recommend subscriptions.
And I also wanted to know what your thoughts are on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I think they're cool. What are they, like 4 brothers? They're not related, are they?
I don't know.
I mean, they're cool. They wear their colors and their bandanas around their eyes. And, I mean, that shell is obviously a cool armor. And they don't have to dress up. I mean, they wear their their normal birthday suit, right? I mean, they don't wear any clothes. So, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I think, each has their own specialty, you know, whether it's nunchucks or their sword. I think Michelangelo does a sword. So, Raphael has little forks. Those are cool. So that would be it. That's just my thoughts on it, anyway. I don't know.
If you had very limited time and resources, what would you do to make money in the least amount of time? So let's say you wanted to make $50 a day and had 8 hours to set it up. What would you do?
So I have to make $50 a day.
And had 8 hours.
I love these Mission Impossible challenges. Okay, so 8 hours to do it to make $50 a day. Okay, $50 a day in 8 hours. And can I use what were the other things I can't do?
It has very limited time and resources.
So no time or resources.
Right.
I have 8 hours to make $50 a day. I would probably put 10 grand in the bank and then try to get 5% interest on that. Wouldn't that be $50 a day? I don't think it would be. Would it? Probably wouldn't. Whatever would give me $50 a day in interest, I would probably put that. My math's bad off the cuff, so I'd probably put that much money in the bank, because that wouldn't take it. Well, it might take 8 hours with all the paperwork, but by the time you got all the paperwork done, and you would. I know. I mean, this is another way to ask. Like, if you weren't you, what would you do? Well, I wouldn't be me, so I wouldn't know how to answer it. So, next question.
Why don't you post a monthly income report similar to John Chow?
You know, honestly, because I would just be guessing. I mean, like, I know this person's talking about, see, me and John Chow are very competitive in the blogosphere, but I actually run, you know, several other companies and projects. So, like I say, my blog isn't real high on the priority list. And another thing people don't consider is, I mean, I'm not that guy sitting at home in my underwear anymore making money. I have one person that all they do is accounting. You know, one person, Ty here, all he does is the operations side. Dave Delnave is a CTO person. He has to manage, you know, programmers and stuff like that. So, and program himself. So while I do a lot of the marketing, I mean, you know, I know that we, you know, do good revenues. I mean, the blog should bring down, you know, probably $300,000 to $400,000 this year, and you know, I mean, other than that, I mean, how much of that's profit? You know, probably 90% of it. So I'm not going to break it out monthly and by advertiser, because most advertisers, you know, don't want to share. Some are locked in at a good rate, and some are getting yanked because they were on the bus too late. So better get on board. But, you know, also, I mean, we have a payroll that now, you know, that, I mean, we have to make, I don't know, the other day we were looking like $1,400 just before we're in the green, just because we have so many employees here. But it's a good thing. But again, I mean, like, and also in some of our projects we actually have investors, which would not want us disclosing all financial terms. So, you know, sorry, but that's the way it goes.
I sent you a picture of me and an affiliate check, but you never posted it. I'll admit it was a little over the top and not like the rest of the images in your gallery, but I was kind of disappointed. Did you think it was inappropriate, or did you just not receive it?
What was the person's name?
TEGS.
I don't have. I mean, you know, a lot of people send. The deal is like you send a picture of you with a check, and it inspires others. It's very cool. People like send in pictures of their dogs with checks, and some people send in pictures of their cars with checks, and some people just send in a handwritten dollar amount or a printed receipt or something like that. I mean, so, or your email just got flagged as spam, or I just deleted it because I didn't, you know. So, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't remember it, so you might want to send it again.
How does one start their own ringtone site?
Well, there's several different ways. A lot of affiliate companies have APIs now that you can actually, you know, start right away. I was lucky enough years and years and years ago to create a site where people could generate their own ringtones, upload them, and share them. It'd be very hard for you to do that now because there's no incentive for somebody to go where no one else is at. But I mean, you could always try that. There's a couple different options. But as far as your own ringtone site, you know, I mean, if you're asking me that, I'm guessing you don't have a very good marketing team or programming team. Or luckily, I was all of that back in the day and started my own. And that probably sounds cocky, but that's what happened. So.
The website that is the most enjoyable for me to run and create content for is in the niche that is not a huge affiliate arena. Only a few of the online stores have affiliate programs. Have you ever motivated a company to start a program? Is it a lot of trouble for a seller to get set up with one of those networks?
Yes, we've motivated and actually written affiliate programs for companies. So if this company has something you believe in, you can have them contact us and we will talk to them about implementing an affiliate program for them. There's been 2 different local Lincoln companies that we worked with, and just mom and pop shops to implement an affiliate program. Or, I mean, they could easily go through Commission Junction. I think they charge like $5,000 off the top and then hold $5,000 or something like that. So we write custom ones for people, and the way we do it is pretty slick for SEO value and everything, and has, I think, better tracking than most affiliate companies and reporting. So plus it gives you a lot more hands-on. There's less, you know, if people are blocking Commission Junction cookies or links or whatever affiliate company, you won't be affected by that. So.
Do you have a college degree? Is it
No.
valuable these days for someone who aims to live off the internet, or is it a waste of precious time?
Okay, so I'm probably going to piss off a lot of people, but I mean, like Ty, who's talking to me now and asking me these questions, has a 4-year degree in mathematics, and but he's also from a very small town, and that kind of tells me a lot. When people from small towns, from small farming communities, they usually are very hard workers and have good work ethics. So that combined with his educational background was hard for me to ignore, basically. But I mean, I don't have a degree. I'm not the type of person that learns very well in an educational setting. I just never was very much, even in high school and earlier. But I just dive in and learn from experience. And so I think that if you already are doing this and you're learning and getting experience from it, then I don't know what school is going to do for you, because school isn't going to teach you what you're learning now. But I mean, if you want to be an accountant, or, you know, I mean, marketing wise, you can learn a lot from school. I've benefited a tremendous amount from the classes that I took that were internet law and marketing, or not internet law, business law and marketing. And I still use some of those things that I was taught. So I think those are very valuable. But I think more key classes and less degrees. I'm not a degree person, but.
When you started out putting ads on the site, what's the average price of an ad spot?
Which site? Does it
I
say?
assume just
The blog?
Yeah.
I don't know what the average price was. I really couldn't tell you. It was a long time ago. It's probably a couple $100 a month, maybe. I don't know where it started. So
That's it.
that's it. Okay. Well, thanks for your questions. Hopefully, I answered them. And maybe we'll do this in, I don't know, it's what took us like an hour. So it wasn't too bad. So maybe we'll do them in a couple more weeks later.